Welcome back to Amy Kardashian and the Expert Show, where the experts share their knowledge, wisdom, and powerful insights to help you transform your business and personal life. This is second segment from the whole show, but I'm gonna have you the second and the third because this is second time you come on my show. Vincent Martin, he's been on my show before. I'm sure probably if you're following me, you watched his first segment, and if you didn't, please, I encourage you to go and watch his first interview. This time we are going to talk about how to understand the
Epigenetics.
Epigenetics. I'm having a hard time pronouncing it, but everyone who's my team, they're like, we never heard this word before. Right, and
right.
You said the same thing too.
Yeah, I did.
We want to share with them what that means, how it plays in our lives, right?
Yeah, how epigenetics controls our everyday life and what role it has in our everyday life.
I'm so curious to learn about it. Mm-hmm. I did not want to Google it or anything because I want to learn from you.
You wanted to learn from me?
Yes.
And you know what? I had to learn I was watching TV. And I was watching a program.
Okay.
And the program was getting ready to go off. And the guy made a statement about what role did epigenetics play in what happened with African Americans in our country. And I go, what the hell is epigenetics?
Yeah,
I had never heard the term epigenetics before. So, and then the show went off. So it was like I was left hanging. It's like, what is epigenetics?
I know. I kind of know a little bit about you because Vince interviewed me a couple times. So you're very deep into stuff. You're not gonna let that go. You want to learn more.
I wasn't gonna let it go. I'm like, okay, what they trying to blame on black people now?
Yeah, what is it now, right?
It's like, what are you trying to blame us for now? So I went and I researched the term, and I looked at epigenetics.
Yeah.
And I go, I really didn't understand how he was trying to formulate this. And for those of you that are out there that don't know what epigenetics is a term that was coined by two scientists, and actually this was back in 1942. Mm-hmm. It was one of the scientists' name was Conrad Waddington, and he took the term epigenetics. It comes from the Greek word epigenesis. And what that means is it's the development of cells, development of genetics. And so this required me to do a little bit more research because I'm still trying to understand how this guy was trying to equate the role that epigenetics played in the African American community. And I couldn't, even after learning, because here's a really short, simple example of what epigenetics is.
Okay, what is it?
Epigenetics.
I'm waiting.
Look, this.
Vince, I'm waiting. Okay, I'm waiting.
It's pretty much what it is what they were doing is that they were studying the development and biological effect that genes. And so they were trying to figure out, when he came up with the term epigenetics, is that epigenetics was playing with the genes. And if you know about DNA, the role that epigenetics plays in DNA is that think of cells as being actors.
Okay.
Think of DNA as being the script. Think of DNA sequence as being the words on the script. Well, epigenetics would be the director.
Oh.
So he would cut in certain scenes, cut out certain scenes, turn certain things on. So the role that epigenetic plays in our daily life is that through genetics, it turns on certain genetic codes, it turns off certain genetic codes, and basically, if you look at it from that perspective, epigenetics in turns will tell the cancerous cell to turn on or not to turn on or to turn off.
Wow.
And so I was trying to equate that as like, well, what does that have to do with me?
With African Americans.
With African Americans, right. But with all people.
Yeah.
What role can epigenetics play? Because epigenetics, I found epigenetics is everywhere. It's where we live. It's who we interact with.
Okay.
It's all of the things that are around us, the chemical makeup, the biology.
And direct all that.
Yeah, and it directs all of that and interacts with that, the chemical reaction of that. And so I'm still trying to figure out how the hell does that equate to formulating my life? And I think the thing is that with epigenetics, what turns epigenetics on? How does it get the idea to direct that DNA sequence or those genes to turn on the cancerous ones or to turn them off?
So you're going even behind.
You go behind
what
the
it
scenes.
does.
Yeah, so
Why
I'm
is doing
thinking
that? Okay.
what they're trying to figure out is that, okay, if we can, through epigenetics, tell those genes not to turn on the bad ones and turn on the good ones, then we can make people's lives better. But I took it one step further.
Okay. Now, when we come back, we're gonna say what you're taking it one step further.
Yeah, we'll
so
do that.
We'll be right back after short commercial.
Are you frustrated and wasting time searching for high-quality education and entertainment and not finding it? Stop wasting your time. We've got your solution. Our 3 dynamic and unique online TV shows provide you with high-quality and easy-to-find content. Everything from business skills and self-development to book and movie reviews and everything in between. At akexpertstv.com, you'll find high-quality experts in their field in one place at no cost to you. Visit www.akexpertstv.com today.
Welcome back to Amy Kardashian and the Expert Show. I have a great expert here. He's sharing with us about epigenetics.
Yeah.
Did I say it right?
You said it right.
Okay.
You got it. I know.
This is hard to pronounce.
It's
But that's
no,
okay.
I think you basically know what it is. I
You're
think
making me feel it's so curious now. I'm going to learn more about this.
Yeah. So I was looking at trying to figure out what role epigenetics plays in our lives. And I'm not a scientist, I'm not a biologist, but out of curiosity, I looked at what they meant by epigenetics, and I figure out what they're not saying or what they're never going to be able to do through epigenetics is understand why those things get turned on. And I think from a spiritual standpoint, interjecting spirituality into it, those things get turned on because of our attitudes.
Oh, wow. Okay, so the attitude directed.
The attitude
Directs
is, yeah. So when you have a disease that's hereditary, that disease will never come about in that individual unless they display the same type of attitudes and mental thoughts that the parents had, the one that they inherited that gene from. So attitude is everything. Attitude plays a huge role in our lives in turning on certain genetic codes that either make us sick or well. Attitude also controls a lot. And so that's what I was looking at. And then I started trying to figure out, yeah, but what the hell does that have to do with
My
me
attitude.
as an African American, and what
Okay.
role did it play? So I think what he was trying to say is that because epigenetic controls certain DNA or genetic codes and turns on certain things, and then when you get back to attitude, if you've got a specific type of attitude,
You're guiding it in
you're
certain
guiding
way.
it. Yeah, because now think about your attitude
Yeah.
determines whether you're a healthy individual. How do you feel about yourself?
Yes.
Your attitude is everything.
Yes.
Now, how does that equate to us as individuals? So thinking about that, and I was thinking what he meant to say was what was passed down through genetic memory. And genetic memory is basically through certain attitudes, certain thoughts, those thoughts get passed down through those DNA codes to the individual. See, when you're looking at me, or when I look at you, what you're looking at are my parents' emotions.
Yes. I agree with that.
As kids, we wear our bodies, we wear our parents' emotions
And attitudes.
and attitudes.
We carry
so
that on.
therefore, if you think about epigenetics in those terms, then you think about for 200 years, African Americans were under slavery. So during that time, they were told
They
that
carried so much pain.
carried so much pain. They also carried, so they were told that they was what 1/3 human or 2/3 human. They were not exactly considered to be a whole person, and that was even a part of our law at one times, that if you were African American, you were considered to be 2/3.
Wait a minute. Some people say life started with African Americans.
Yeah, but
that's how they started. You know?
Yeah, in Africa they say
So,
cradle of
yeah,
civilization.
yeah.
But into this country, so
Yes,
then
into this
that's what I
country.
started looking at. So therefore, if you're told, if you go back and you start thinking about all of the stereotypes that not only affect my community, but all communities.
Yeah.
You know what they say about each individual group. And so therefore, if they, for 200 years, were told that they were lazy, that they were less than 2/3 of a person, that they were subhuman, then all of those things must have been passed down genetically.
Absorbed to your thoughts,
and
yeah,
so
and given to
therefore,
your kids.
generations
Yeah.
after that, because we're talking about slavery lasted for over 200 years. So you think about genetically after that, what could have been passed down, the types of attitudes, and how it may have affected us as a community. But then look at all individuals, and you look at all of the negativity that's out there now. And when we are constantly being bombarded, with negative thoughts. I mean, you look at all the chemicals that they put in our food. You look at all, the fluoridation of the water, everything that we're subjected to. How does that affect our attitude? How does it affect the epigenetics of our genes?
See, I said you're an expert, but you're not, like you said, you're not science or any, not that kind of expert. But what you bring to the table is very, very deep. And you searched and you really given us information that not many people really understand. This is very deep subject, and when we come back, we are going to continue talking about this amazing subject. And actually, I was learning about water last night. I was learning about water, how each area on Earth, the water have different memories. You were talking about water, and it collects the memory, and we drink it. So
Yes.
when we eat, we're everything is going to our DNA, and we'll pass it on to the others. So I'm very, very, very interested in this subject. So we have a second segment,
Okay.
and we are going to be right back.